You know, I did a video not too long ago about some of the Xbox leaks for their event that's coming up, and I think that that gets a lot of people excited. You know, listen, I know I haven't been the biggest Xbox supporter lately, and that's a lot due to some of the miscommunications on their part and the way that they kind of just let themselves go this entire generation. Like, they basically packed it up in 2015 to get ready for the next generation. I felt like that was probably the wrong move, given that company has so much money. But they are going to have an event in July. It's going to be a huge event. Trust me when I say, even if you think I'm a hater, that this event is going to be incredible and probably is going to be even better than Sony's PlayStation 5 event. And the reason why I say that is because it's all first-party stuff. So, you know, we're going to see some of what these studios can do. But Sony had their own kind of leak with their own games that's going to come after that, because they were saving some big surprises, and that's what we're going to get into. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here. Crapgamer Reviews, unscripted, by the way. As always, back with another video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate that. It helps out the channel, and that means a lot to me personally. If you guys wouldn't mind, please hit that bell at the very least. And if you really want to support me, all you got to do is like. If you want to subscribe, even better. I appreciate that too. It does mean a lot when you guys come check out the videos and stuff like that. So anyway, we know that Microsoft is going to be showing off their first-party stuff. A big thing for a big showcase for Halo. I believe they're probably going to fortify their launch games. Halo is going to be the big one. It looks like Forza Motorsport's making a comeback, but obviously they know they can't get away with just showing another Forza and another Halo, so they've got to dive deep into some of the other stuff that they have. Expect maybe some Everwild. Expect maybe, 100% sure that the Fable's going to be there and showcased. I've heard that. That's not a launch game. I believe that might be running on Unreal Engine 5. So again, anytime you hear that Unreal Engine 5 is being used, just have to keep in mind that that engine doesn't even ship until the end of next year. So you're looking at probably 2022, 2023, because they can work on the game before then and port everything over to Unreal Engine 5, but there's still a lot of tweaking and stuff that's going to have to be done until that point. So stuff like Hellblade 2, Fable, that stuff is going to be 2022, 2023, somewhere along those lines. And so they are going to show them off. They probably are going to look pretty good, because they're not going to be, having to support that old hardware, the Xbox One from 2013. They're going to be able to kind of do their own thing, and I feel like that's going to be very, very important going forward, because they want to show off that beautiful hardware they have as best they can. Now, they're going to do a great job showing off these great games that they have. Obviously, not everything's going to be great that they show off, but they are going to have some pretty nice games to show off. And with that being said, Sony's going to have some kind of answer, because Microsoft does have another event after that, but it's third parties, like bigger third parties, I guess. But Sony has another event, and supposedly there's a couple big AAA games within the launch area that the PlayStation 5 is going to have that they didn't show off already. And I think that a lot of people are going to be excited about that, and a lot of people are going to want to see exactly what they have to offer. That's going to be the very most important thing that Sony can do, because it's how you're going to be able to respond, and that rebuttal to Microsoft is going to be very important going into next generation. Once again, they've got a very, very daunting task in front of them, because you know what? Microsoft isn't just going to roll over for them. They aren't just going to go, well, you know what? Let's roll over and let Sony, win again. Like, it doesn't really work that way. Microsoft want to go out there and do what they can, and they want to go out there and prove that they can compete and prove that they're worthy of being in this console space. And I think for them to be able to do that, it's going to take a heck of a lot from their first party. I do that. I really, really hope that. So at the end of the day, Sony's going to have to respond to that. So you might go, oh, well, what's some of the rumors? I can give you some of the rumors. Again, you have to take rumors with a grain of salt, but it would be foolish for Sony to have splurged everything on that one showing, right? Sony always has some kind of trick up their sleeves, and I would expect that to be no different this time. But the biggest rumor, obviously, is still a Silent Hill or possibly a SOCOM online game at launch, which makes a lot of sense. There's also rumors that Factions could be a launch game that comes out from the Last of Us 2, and that could be some kind of multiplayer only, Last of Us 2 type thing. If you guys played Factions on the first Last of Us, it was pretty decent game mode. So a lot of people are kind of expecting something like that to happen yet again. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. Again, Sony has done a good job at doing single-player stuff. I don't think anybody can doubt that. I think that clearly, hands down, Sony has done a fantastic job with that. And at the end of the day, that's something that they probably do better than anybody else. It used to be big third parties could really go out there and shine. Now it's not so much like that. Realistically, it's just one of those things where Sony are the ones that do that best. I mean, you can say Nintendo. You can put Nintendo in that lot. But again, Nintendo hasn't really branched off into the multiplayer market. They don't really have that big third-party multiplayer the way that Sony does. I believe that the third parties are doing multiplayer much, much better than the first party these days, right? But back in the PS3 360 era, you had pretty interesting stuff from Sony on the multiplayer side, including 3 Resistance games. They were pretty good, and some SOCOM games, Warhawk, just a lot of online games, and they haven't really done that this generation. I mean, some smaller stuff like Predator, what we don't even mention, that's not really first party. So there's rumors that they have a SOCOM game or a SOCOM reboot online game, possibly from Guerrilla Games. We've heard that maybe there's another Killzone in the works, possibly from Guerrilla. They have 2 big teams working on stuff, so that would be very interesting if they could get something out there. There's also rumors that we could see a collection of the first Resistance games. Like, Sony wants people to buy into PlayStation Now to play online, or PlayStation Plus, play online, all that kind of good stuff, to see exactly what's coming and what's not. So this is going to be very important going forward for them to offer some online games, and also kind of maybe to shut up some of the fanboys. Again, Sony has done a fantastic job at going out there and producing these like mega hits and things like that. Realistically, it just comes down to what they're going to be able to accomplish going forward with that. They want to give people multiple reasons. Yes, they do single-player games. Yes, they do the best single-player games. But going forward, they're going to also have to be able to prove to people that they can do some multiplayer stuff as well. Look, Microsoft does only multiplayer stuff. Sony, I'm sure, wants to mix in some stuff that has people coming back for more. And I think one of the easier way to do that is by doing some service type games and things like that. I think that there's a limit to that, though, right? Like, I'm not a big service type game fan. I understand why people do it because we still live in a day and age where these developers want you to keep their disc in your console and not treat it and stuff like that. As we get more digital, it's not really as much of a problem because you can't really sell off your games or get rid of your games. So we are going to see pretty much exactly what they have to kind of offer. But again, it looks like they're kind of diversifying their portfolio, and they're going to surprise some people with what they actually have to offer. And I think that's a very smart move, because if you look at what Microsoft's doing, they're not going to change what they do. Like I said earlier, it looks like even Fable's going to have some kind of multiplayer. Everything they do has some kind of multiplayer component, and not everybody wants multiplayer, even if it's optional, right? Like, look at what they did with Forza Horizon 4. They really turned that into games as a service, and it wasn't really my favorite Forza Horizon game. Obviously, they've been online before, but just the way that they kind of have an overabundance of different different stuff that came along with that. I didn't like the dailies and weeklies, that kind of stuff in a car game. Just didn't make a lot of sense to me. You know what I mean? And then, like, Sony, they launched a specific online racer with GT Sport that did do fairly well for them. I think 8-10 million copies sold. So seeing them kind of diversify what they can do, you got to have the big AAA single player, the AAA multiplayer, the stuff in between, the AA's and things like that. And I think Sony really gets that. They also have some of the more gimmicky stuff with the VR, which I'm very much a fan of. And I think a lot of people are going to be surprised at what they actually have to offer. So hopefully we get more of that information soon. But that's the big rumors, that they got something along the lines of a Silent Hill to show off that's going to be pretty close to launch, and a SOCOM or Resistance collection. Makes a lot of sense to me. What would you like to see from Sony? What would you like to see them show off? I think for me personally, those would be huge games if they could show off maybe a new Resistance even, or announce it. I don't know how Insomniac would do that, considering they're working on Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Ratchet and Clank, but they are a rather large developer, so it's always going to be interesting to see how that works out. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this in the comments below. Hit me up on Twitter at @_Crapgamer, Xbox Live MOH Crapgamer. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. Rack 'em up and game on. And as always, I really appreciate anybody that took the time out of their day to watch one of my videos. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for rocking out with me. Crapgamer, out.
Unscripted.